Hello! You're listening to the preview episode of episode 250 of Watch Out for Fireballs. It is a quarter of 1,000, a quarter of 10 centuries of Watch Out for Fireballs. This episode goes up through the generalities of Half-Life 2. If you'd like to hear the entire episode, join us at patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv. $5 a month gives you all of the premium episodes, a bunch of other shows, frankly too much stuff. Dip in and out as you please. That's fine with us, but check that out for the full episode, and stay tuned for the preview now. My name is Gary Butterfield.
My name is Cole Ross.
And you're listening to Watch Out for Fireballs. It is a Games Club podcast.
And this week we are talking about Half-Life 2, which is a first-person shooter developed and published by Valve for the PC in 2004.
Yeah. Episode 250.
Mm-hmm.
A quarter 1,000.
I thought about phrasing it that way yesterday when I was working on these notes, and no, that's way too much. Big numbers too much.
Yep, and then in 32 years we'll reach 1,000 episodes. It's 32 years total.
Mm-hmm.
I will be in my mid 60s talking about the Bleep Bloop 2000 and the Zip the I game.
Yep.
and just an iPad and all these futuristic items.
Yeah, well, I'll just be sitting in carbon fiber dune buggies weeping.
Yep. Time to log into the Oculus fuck corridor.
Yep.
Please, Oculus, bring me games.
It's ridiculous, but then you also think you've got the extrasodes and the appendices and the dispatches in there. It's a bunch. We've been doing this for a long time. This is also the 8th anniversary of the show.
Yeah. 8 years, baby.
Mm-hmm.
8 years, nearly a decade.
Yeah.
80% of a decade. 80% of 10. Everything gets put to a round number.
Coming up on roughly about a third of my life. Yeah. No.
It's a quarter for me. Just about. It's pretty crazy.
No, it's a quarter for me. 8 out of 31. Yeah. So, hi, buddy.
Yeah. It's pretty strange.
How's mortality feel?
Yeah, not great.
Yeah.
We're all aging into dust.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Death. Episode 250.
It's also the 228th game that we've covered for the show.
Oh,
yeah.
Not as good, not as round a number, not as pleasing.
No, but I like updating that list every once in a while just to see. That means that on average we have played just a little bit under 29 games a year for the show.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Just about.
With every other week for a long time.
Yeah.
More games this year probably.
Oh yes, yeah.
Since we've moved to weekly, less year and last year. Yeah. So this is thanks everybody who's listening. There's some of you who are listening who have been here since episode 1. That's pretty rad.
Yeah.
Thank you. And we wanted to do a big one, even though this was kind of an accident. This came about because we were choosing. This is we've had a lot of Patreon requests lately. This is not a Patreon request. This is us making a big list of good games to have be our kind of capstone for the month, and this being one of the gigantic omissions of games that we have not done. Easily one of the most important games of all time, and one of the best shooters of all time, and we have never touched it.
Yeah.
Super excited.
I'm taking a look. Our Half-Life episode, the original Half-Life, was about 5 years ago.
So it's almost the Half-Life.
Just
of
about.
the show.
Just about.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this was a big one, and I think that I knew it was going to be 250 when you suggested it. So it's like, oh yeah, that's cool. That feels appropriate. Episode wasn't it episode 125 was Portal 2? Something like that. Yeah.
Episode 50, X-Men Legends 2.
No, episode 50 was Castlevania 3. Episode 75
episode
was
75, baby. The big 75, X-Men, XML 2.
X-Men Legends 2. Hey, you, Shadow of the Colossus, you go on 77.
Yeah, no. You're not so great. Yeah. You have nothing to compare to the tale of Sugar Man.
But it's fun. It's fun to, speaking of X-Men and comic books kind of stuff, it's fun to put these big games on these big round numbers. There's
look forward to 350 for Blue Shift.
Ooh. I mean, no. I mean, if we're going to do one of those, it would have to be Opposing Force, but I don't know. Yeah. None of those are that great.
Yeah, they're good at some point. I like it. There's a little bit of like playing chicken. It's like, what do we do that before we do the Half-Life 2 episodes?
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah, we could definitely do the Half-Life 2 episodes at some point.
Yeah.
So we still have some Half-Life goodness, and I have a Left 4 Dead episode in me at some point. As far as games that I've never talked about on for the show that I've put hours into, Left 4 Dead's really up there. Yeah. In terms of content in my life, I have not somehow made into content for the show. Left 4 Dead is really, really up there.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited to talk about this. This is our premium episode for September. So everybody gets the generalities of this, which will be significant and long. But the full episode is for patrons. Yes. So if you go to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv, $5 a month gets you this episode, gets you every episode, gets you a bunch of other shows, gets you, frankly, an embarrassment of riches. We want people, we really appreciate people who support us, and we want them to feel good about it and like they get a lot for their money.
Yes.
And I think that we provide that.
Yeah. So if you're into that, go to patreon.com/DuckFeedTV. If you already did, thank you.
Big thanks.
Yeah. Also, be ready for us to gush quite a bit.
Oh yeah, this is a positive. This is the opposite of this is BioShock Finite. This is the opposite of what we dealt with, because this is a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
This stands up better than I expected it to. I enjoyed it more than the last time I played it.
Same. I was worried. I was worried that it would feel aged. That it wouldn't hold up. And I've got a couple of problems with, some later levels and stuff, but like generally, I feel like I don't know, I savored this a bit more than my last playthrough, which was like going through and getting ready for episode 2.
Yeah, same, very similar.
Yeah.
I think I did not have a lot of problems with this, actually. I was surprised by how smooth this went. Other than a general problem of every level being like 15% too long.
That's generally where it comes down to. This has a little bit of the early 2000s PC game problem, where it's like, just be here, have a lot. Food's great, portions are too much. Yeah.
It's just, there's no to-go box. I don't even know if that's like a PC game problem. It's just this was the style at the time in games. Yeah. Like everything was like this. And that's more about modern sensibilities than any real problem with the content itself.
Yeah.
Like even when I was a little bit ready for a level to end, I was like, gotta hand it to him.
Yeah.
This part is still cool. I'm ready for it to be over.
Yeah.
It doesn't, not because it's bad though. So let's get into it. In case you do not know about Half-Life 2. So in this, you play as Gordon Freeman, who wakes up several years after the Black Mesa incident to find that the world has been invaded by an interdimensional alien empire called the Combine. See our episode on Half-Life 1 to learn about the Black Mesa incident.
Yes. The Black Mesa incident got the attention of the Combine and brought them to our dimension. The Combine are good and scary.
I want to spend a lot of time on the lore, actually.
Yeah.
I think it is surprising. I know that's our Valve trick. Duckfeed's trick is to like concentrate on Valve lore and then make people on message boards mad at us for it. But like, I actually legitimately think that all the world building and details in this game are pretty incredible.
No, it's masterclass. If it has been topped, it has not been topped very frequently or by much.
Topped in, like Portal. It's been topped by other Valve games. Like it is.
Right.
There's a reason. There's so many elements of this game and playing it that are just about. Take the wheel. A really, really experienced kind of best in class developer is doing this. Just take the wheel. I'm just going to relax.
Yeah.
There'll be ammo when I run out.
Yeah.
I just know there will. They're just like, as soon as I run out of ammo, I'm going to find some more.
Yeah.
As soon as I get bored with this sequence, there'll be another sequence. There just will be.
Yeah.
If it there's I need some downtime to do some world building, it'll come right at the exact moment because this is a finely tuned machine.
Yeah.
That figured out so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, expect some definite lore talk.
Yeah, and the Combine as a threat, it's kind of rare in terms of video game enemies or threats where, which kind of come down to size. The more you think about them, you start to put the bounding box on them. The more I think about the Combine, the more existentially terrifying they are. As like a collective of villains and as just like this deleterious force. It's incredibly good, just in principle and in the way that, that informs the marks that we see they made on Earth here. They in terms of being a sequel and like raising the stakes and raising the scale, this is about, that's the name of the documentary. Yes. No, but in terms of, that jump for a sequel, this again sticks the landing incredibly hard.
Yeah. In terms of, and then also so much of that is how it tells stories, like these little tantalizing details about what the Combine is actually like.
Yes.
And then one of my favorite all-time moves in video games, and this is getting way ahead, but just a little preview, is that this game, instead of ending with a gigantic, super hard, frustrating boss fight, it ends with a really, really long victory lap that shows you the full picture of what you've been facing.
Yes.
Like, and I love the confidence of that move. And you just don't, there's so many like forgotten lessons in this, like things that have kind of gone out of style, or just things I feel like I kept thinking like, oh, Half-Life 2 figured this out. Why am I still dealing with not this? Like why am I playing a shooter that doesn't have this pace to it? Because they figured it out.
Yeah.
And like, why am I still doing these like ending sequences in shooters that are like really frustrating? Like, why am I doing the end boss of Wolfenstein, the New Order, when Half-Life 2 figured it out?
Yeah.
Why did Halo 3 why did ODST happen? Like when Halo figured it out. Like, it's amazing that the vehicles in this feel so much better than the ones in ODST. I don't know how that happened. It's true. Like, and they're like widely considered the worst part of this game, and they're still like competitive. Very strange.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, it's similar to the first game, which codified tons of shooter tropes. Like Half-Life 1 was one of the first games to have WASD standard as a default. A lot of these things we take for granted in FPSs started with Half-Life 1, and Half-Life 2 doesn't upset that apple cart very much. You're very quick. The weapons are loud, have a lot of heft to them. There's no cover system. It is... it is a fairly straight putt shooter.
Yeah. They even stuck to their guns with health and armor. Even post Halo, you still have health pickups. You still have, your suit energy. You still have these refilling stations. Again, that is an incredibly good decision because it allows them to put a really firm hand on the throttle for your resources.
Yes. Yeah. Again, you just sit back and say, hey, when I need health, I'll get it.
Yep.
Like, oh, I have to jump down onto this crate to break my fall. There'll be a health container in there that heals me for the fall damage.
Yep.
Exactly. Like, this is just tuned.
Yeah.
So impressively. One of the bigger changes to the world and kind of combat to this is this emphasis on physics. So this is the source engine, an incredibly important engine in games that includes havoc physics.
Yes.
And this allows for a new emphasis on kind of different kinds of puzzles.
Yes.
Half-Life 1 also had puzzles of a sort, but a lot of times they were platforming or navigation.
Yeah.
When we went back to Half-Life 1, I was surprised by how much of it was focused on platforming things. Now, it is much more about picking up, moving, throwing items having weight. A lot of seesaws, conspicuous number of seesaw style things. And just kind of showing off this physics engine.
Yeah, stuff that is very much just putting this forward in a way that's kind of like goofy when you think about it in retrospect. Like, oh yeah, it's like super obvious that there's like, okay, we have a physics engine. Every problem can be solved with a seesaw, etc. No, like it was just like massively important at the time that you had the ability to like code particular objects with different weights. Right. There are like different materials that interact with each other in different ways, depending on the properties that are conferred upon them. Right.
Yeah.
So some of
really
the
impressive and more than just puzzle solving, more than just seesaws. So like this is something that will happen in environmental things. You'll shoot, a series of boxes and something on top of a box will fall down. Like it makes the entire world feel a lot more alive than it otherwise would.
Yeah.
It's still not kind of best in class. Like later games would do a lot more with this.
Yes.
But this is a real front runner in having a sense of realistic world state rules that mirrors our own.
Yes. Yeah. So you're going to be solving these puzzles to move forward, and, you know, there are lots of kind of stage gimmicks and things like that in the game. We're going to talk about those. Those do aid in the pace quite a bit. The most memorable one, and also probably the best or one of the best items in games, centers on these physics, which is the gravity gun, which is such an ingenious idea.
Yeah, the gravity gun is one of those goat things. It's like the portal gun. Again, make a lot of comparisons to that game, just in terms of like weird sheer perfection. The gravity gun is so fun. It's extremely fun to use in this game. It has a massive payoff during the climax of the game. It is, you know, whenever anyone asks like, hey, what item would you want from a game into real life? You know, if you're not answering this or the portal gun, like, what is wrong with you? You know, like, I just don't understand. Like, both of them, I would kill myself in seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if I had the gravity gun, I would just, like, point it at something too heavy that would come and smash me in the face and then fall on top of me.
Right.
And then I would die, and I would be the environmental storytelling for cops.
Yes.
Or paramedics. Like, paramedics would come and get to solve the super fun mystery of how I killed myself with the heaven wish about getting the gravity gun. But I would still do it. It's like how I would still go to Jurassic Park.
Right.
Like if they opened up Jurassic Park tomorrow, I'd be like, yeah, I got to put away all my money. I'm sorry.
No, it is a risk I'm willing to take.
Yes. Same thing with the gravity gun. It is so cool. It's so fun. Really satisfying weapon.
You know, so like there's a lot generally to be said about the sound design in the game. I think the sound of the gravity gun works a lot to its credit as well. Just that lightning bolt sound that happens when you do the throw with it. Yeah. That almost always presages something getting massively fucked up.
Yes.
No, it's just, I don't know, like it's hard to talk about something. It's hard to put into words something that is as tactile as that is.
Yeah. And just like this huge utility item.
Yes.
That, you know, the game is based around it in a lot of ways. And we'll talk about that level variety for sure. But just having levels that are based around the gravity gun in multiple different applications, incredibly satisfying. Like they give you a combat gravity gun level, and then they give you a navigation gravity gun level shortly after, and they're both really cool and really inventive.
Yeah.
And just, you know, getting ground 2004.
Hey guys.
Yeah. So, guys, it was, you know, it's a long time ago. The weapons you get are very like FPS style weapons. They're all pretty good though.
Yeah.
That sound design, you know, combine rifle, one of the loudest guns in games. And you know, if we learned anything, it's that the way to make guns feel good in games is to make them loud as fuck.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doom, and fuck everyone who forgot.
Yep.
You know, just, you know, Doom figured it out. Half-Life did it too. People forgot. Just make these, you know, make them loud.
Yeah.
Bassy and loud. You know?
Yeah. Make me feel it. Yeah. You know, make me feel the kick in my Novant Falcon.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I've got a tiny subwoofer under my desk. Yeah. And I need to have be rattled.
Yes. Destroy my balls with that bass, please.
Yes, indeed. Thunderstrike me. So
we'll talk about the particular weapons when we get to them in the story. They do feel cool and different from each other. Something that differentiates for a good deal of Half-Life 1, you're fighting aliens. And they'll pretty much like run at you and do their attacks. It's notable in Half-Life 1 when the military starts coming after you. Here, you're fighting human enemies throughout, you know, because it takes place in this police state. What's great about that is the AI is really good. And one of my metrics for how good is AI is this. Can you catch it by surprise?
Yeah.
If you can't catch it by surprise, that is not AI.
No, yeah. If it just has a radius of which it becomes magically aware of you. Yeah. You know, base that versus, you know, something where like if you are sneaky, if you cover your sight lines and walk, you can come upon it. They also coordinate with each other via radio chatter.
Yes.
That you can hear. That again, just talking about the sound design in this game, just you know, fucking gives me chills. Like it is it is so good. Yeah. The Combine's voice, the flatline sound when you kill one of them.
No, I love that. I love throwing a grenade, thinking, okay, wait, is it going to boom? Bee. Okay.
Yeah. absolutely like one of the best feelings in games to do so. And, it is because of that AI that those strategies end up becoming useful.
Mm-hmm.
They also get more and more in a way that's not only related to their AI, but also related to kind of the story, getting more and more devious as you go on, set more traps and things as they get more desperate as you, the last free man, get closer to achieving your goal.
Yeah.
And that is also really satisfying. Like there are some really devious ambushes in this game that the enemy, and part of that just encounter design, but part of it is AI as well. So both of which work in tandem really well.
Yeah. Pretty good. And you can benefit from that AI. You do have an AI partner for some of these. You have Alex. We'll talk about her when we get to her. But you also get like squads, first of bugs and then of dudes that you can send to their death.
There's significantly more Left 4 Dead DNA than I would have thought.
Yeah.
Like, and part of it is those squad tactics, the way that works, and then part of it is a specific item with those bugs that reminds me of Boomer Bile. But like, there's a lot of Left 4 Dead in this, and you can see them kind of experimenting with having squads here before Left 4 Dead came out.
Yeah.
And it's the squads are not a core mechanic to this.
No.
One of the things that doesn't age, or that actually has aged really well, but it's unusual, is that instead of being a game with a core mechanic that iterates on throughout, it is a game that is meant to be a little bit of a variety show.
Yeah.
This is a weird connection I came upon when replaying it, but the closest game to this in terms of rhythm and pace that I can think of is Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
And that's a odd comparison. But they're both games that are dedicated to having a parade of gimmicked or themed levels that are designed to keep your attention up and stop things from getting stale.
Yeah.
And that's not really in style right now. And there's a critic who I like named Errant Signal, who did a video on this and was talking about how, and it's one of his older videos, I don't think he did a commentary on it later that he was kind of chagrinny. So I don't know how much he stands by this stuff, but he's talking about how Half-Life 2 is overrated. And he's talking about it being just this, beautiful corridor that you go down. Like you're not basically, he's talking about how you don't have a lot of choices in terms of the story. Like you're basically being taken along for a ride. There's a part in that video that is amazing where he's talking about like the level variety, and he's doing it in the board guy voice, like the dumb idiot voice, where he's like, now it's time for vehicle. Now it's time for long range combat with multiple units. Now it's time for short range ambushes with shock trooper units. And I'm like, how? That's the wrong voice for this, because that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like that is great. Like doing that. I loved it when we went back to Resident Evil 4. Like I loved like, oh, time for traps. Oh, time for survival. Oh, time for sniping. Like that kind of dedication to a thesis for a level is something that obviously like appeals to us a lot as the creators of Bonfireside Chat, but I don't understand how it doesn't appeal to everyone.
Yeah, I could understand if it was going to be something where each of those modes was strictly modal. It's going to certain.
They actually interact. It's not,
they bleed.
It's not Tomb Raider 2016 where it's like it goes between 3 modes on like a clock-like rhythm almost. This goes through a much greater variety of modes, and because you're kind of engaging with the same systems in each one. So like the physics that you use in a puzzle section can also benefit you in the combat sections.
Yeah.
Can also benefit you in a navigation section.
The buggy doesn't work without the gravity gun.
Yeah, exactly. And you can use the buggy for combat. You can use the buggy for getting around. You can use it for all these things. Everything bleeds together. The thing that makes it different than Tomb Raider 2016, where, hey, in the stealth section, if I actually shoot somebody, I'm going to get overwhelmed on purpose. Like a bunch of enemies are going to come out and basically going to die. It's not time for that.
Yeah.
There's no bleed. This is in both games, Resident Evil 4 and in Half-Life 2, you're controlling the same basic avatar and the same basic move set through this like gallery of different gameplay modes that you can do. And it's just amazing.
Yeah. And
amazing stuff.
And you can prize like general nonlinearity in games as a personal value that you enjoy. I don't know that like linearity or nonlinearity is the sole axis by which a game's quality can be gauged.
Yes.
And additionally, like there are different expressions of nonlinearity. There are different, avenues by which player expression is honored in this as regards how you approach different, your different encounters here. There are different like little corners that you can go and explore that will reward that instinct to cast out. that I think that I buck against this person who is not here to defend themselves. I buck against the idea that this is strictly just a corridor. It's very corridor-y. I'm not going to lie. And in a way, Half-Life 1 and this, by, solidifying a lot of stuff that Half-Life 1 laid down, probably is responsible for a lot of imitators that did it worse than this.
Yeah. Story hallway games.
Yeah. This, though, I think is sui generis. It is, kind of one of a kind, because it does so much of it with a tremendous amount of care that the kind of overall, macro linearity doesn't bother me because of the micro non-linearity.
The diverticula. And also having non-linearity, or having that not contributing to a story being a values neutral principle is strange to me, because the same way that you can read a work of high literature and then you can also read a genre novel, or you can go and enjoy an art film, but you also go and enjoy John Wick.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, it's a big enough pie.
Yeah.
Games are a big enough pie that yes, I want this sometimes too. Other times I don't.
Yeah.
But this is a really excellent version of this is not to be scoffed at. It is
right.
Really, really impressive, even if it isn't something that is asking questions of the medium and challenging you with complicated. It's not Spec Ops. It's not asking you complicated moral questions. I don't give a shit. It is a really, really fun, well-paced sci-fi thing, and it is never been more out of style to be the person who doesn't like John Wick,
right?
Who doesn't like the popcorn movie, or can't appreciate a certain kind of modest putt.
Yeah.
And this is a a no frills hole in one. It's not even a putt.
Right.
This is so well done. It's, even if it is just a golf stroke. I have lost the metaphor.
Probably.
I just
I do not. So I do not bristle if somebody calls this a story corridor as a description. I do bristle if they use it in this particular instance as a condemnation. I suppose.
Yeah, it's a slur.
Yeah.
It's not a damning thing of this, and it just makes me feel. It's also a thing too where that story corridor part of it has actually aged better. I was surprised by how refreshing this was. Again, that kind of sublimation. I was telling you, hey, just let Valve take the wheel.
Yep.
That feeling being an overriding mood of my entire playthrough, incredibly refreshing.
Yeah.
It's not Dead Space. It's not just having a little pointer telling me where to go. It's not that kind of take the wheel. It's not Kirby's Air Ride, taking the wheel. But it is really refreshing now that, and even games I love, but kind of more obtuse, you deal with it. Kind of mechanics are more in vogue now. Even if I like those mechanics, it was really awesome because a lot of developers, I think, want to have this no, we'll just take the wheel and control things, but aren't nearly as good at it.
Right.
This is playing with fire. Being this much of a story corridor. You have to be this good to make that work.
Yes.
Yeah.
That variety is also helped by the fact that you're exploring vastly different environments than in the first game.
Yeah, it's a world tour. You're not just inside hallways at Black Mesa, which does get kind of samey. Eventually you get out to the cliffs and everything.
Yeah.
In that game, but this you're a wide variety.
Yeah, you're in a city. You're in its surroundings. Don't get me wrong. You spend a lot of time in sewers and in canals and stuff like that. But you are kind of more wide ranging as far as things go. And each of those environments designed really, really well.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it feels really good. We talked about that pacing, not only just of levels and everything, but just of pickups and stuff like that. You are, even if you are on the lookout for little side paths and secrets on these little Lambda caches, you will be over prepared for things. If you're not, you'll be regularly prepared for it. And you will see throughout these, as you're kind of exploring for these caches, you will see these little world building details, of which we're going to talk about when you run into them. But you get to find out what is the world like now?
Yeah.
What is the threat of the Combine? What is the Combine doing? Oh, this definitely used to be an ocean. Why is there a ship here? Oh, we don't get oceans anymore?
No.
Fuck. These guys got to go.
These aren't your oceans.
Yeah, no, this is my ocean, don't take my ocean. So you get to see that little stuff through kind of exploring and paying attention in a way that never dominates the experience, but is always there for you if you want it.
Yeah. So the game, kind of has its cake and eats it too. It can have all of these wonderful details, but it never discourages you from keeping moving. It never stops you and rubs your nose in it.
Yes. And I mean, famously, Half-Life 1 was one of the originators of this, but they don't take control over you.
Yes.
There are cutscenes. You'll have NPCs that talk to you. You'll have NPCs that talk as you walk by.
Yeah.
You hear this radio chatter and stuff, but then there are also small kind of exposition scenes where people talk. You just get to be Gordon during that.
Yeah.
And you get to, and on one hand, it's is it immersive if they're having this discussion about the fate of the world and I'm just trying to see how high I can get up on their computer rig?
No.
Oh, no. Would I rather have just sat back and watched a cutscene? No. No. That's a worse alternative to this, to just have this turn into a non-interactive portion of the game. And that is a mindset that informs all of my favorite games. Basically, that is the 0451 main mindset, even though this is by no means an 0451 game.
Yeah.
But that kind of never taking control away from the player, letting you be in that, have that level of kind of immersion and simness the entire time is something that's really valuable to me.
Yes. Additionally, again, we talk about developer confidence quite a bit. However, something that kind of plays into this is there's a lot that they do not feel the need to explain to you, to have somebody say out loud, to have Breen do in one of his Breencasts, et cetera, et cetera.
Man, if we still did sketches, that Breencast was a real layup for us. They're just man, we definitely could have done a Breencast. You Breencast and some kind of Blue Apron, but through the Combine. I don't know. Yeah. There's something there. There's a joke kit somewhere in there, but luckily we no longer do those. So the Breencast sketch.
But just, no, nobody straight up says oh yeah, they drained our oceans to get all the minerals and stuff. No, nobody explains that. You just walk to the coastline and you see oh, this is where the water used to be. And now it's down here, and it leaves you to put it together. And just it is not afraid to just let you put that together for yourself, which I appreciate quite a bit, because a lot of those are the most horrifying realizations that you get to. Oh, you don't start shelling a world with head crabs if you care about what happens to the world when you're done with it. Yeah,
exactly. They are not, and the level of two levels of text that are happening through this, because not only are you getting what you're seeing with your eyes and what the rebellion is telling you, you're also getting the propaganda line the entire time. And that's just, I don't know what the word is for that or how to describe it. That's just something I always love.
Yeah.
Even in real life, in the terrors that we exist, I'm always interested in how this is being sold.
Yeah.
Why do conservatives not believe in climate change? I'm always interested in that. What is this being sold to them as?
Yeah. No,
and we actually get that in here. We get to actually see, our benefactors. Breen is an amazing villain.
Yes.
We'll get to it, but he's a really, really good villain during this. And you get the idea of having the villain being a collaborator, a quizzling piece of shit. He's not an other dimensional space tumor, and he's not a cackling Luca Blight. He's looking out for number one in a really horrible situation.
Yes.
And lying to you constantly. And it's just really, really amazing to see.
Yeah. No, just I love just those two levels of text. You're just living in the rhetorical dissonance.
Yes.
Yeah. Incredibly good.
Level design is again tremendous. Really, really good. The way forward is almost always evident without a big glowing arrow, without ever doing that kind of thing. This is stuff that they would go on to talk about in the commentary for Left 4 Dead games,
right?
As kind of a house style. As far as I know, there's not a commentary for Half-Life 2.
There is.
There is. I have not played the commentary.
It was put out in the orange box.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to check that out at some point, because I love those for Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
I wish I knew that. I just didn't see it, because I would have done it before.
It does weird stuff with your save files. If you have one of those on, I did a little bit of it in the past, but a lot of the details are stuff that is surfaced in those other ones, in the portal, just the general design philosophy of make you look up. You know, like you can get a lot of it by doing the developer commentary on Lost Coast.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that stuff happens through in the level design here as well. That kind of just like using light and using sight lines really effectively, like almost like a theme park. You know, where you always have, the Citadel, which is where you're ultimately going to be. It's always above you.
Yeah.
Like you can always see it in the city.
It helps you orient yourself in the world.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. They're landmarks.
Even smaller ones, like, in Ravenholm, you can see the Onion Dome Church. On the coastline, you can see Nova Prospect. Looming in the distance. Just incredibly good, just like basic orienteering that is built into this. I don't want to let it go unremarked upon that the kind of the visual design of the world, the human architecture, and the way that Combine stuff is encroaching in on it was done by Viktor Antonov, who went on to do visual design for Dishonored.
Yeah, which makes tons of sense.
Yes. So if you're
They're
looking,
both amazing.
Yeah, if you're looking for commonalities or through lines, that is a major one by way of personnel.
Yeah. No. Let's talk Source Engine.
Let's do it.
The Source Engine is Half-Life 2 development. They came hand in hand together, and this is a major piece, like a major engine, a major piece of technology.
Yes.
For games.
Yeah. It's still in use, heavily iterated upon. It is currently the backbone of Dota. Because Valve, I forget who made the joke originally. Valve does not make games anymore; they make money. Yeah. So for me, and this is just me personally, the biggest visual enhancement that this brought was the facial animation. The lip sync and general facial emoting was something that blew me away when I first saw this, like way back in the day, compared to just like the, frozen upper face and then just kind of like basic lip flaps that go on.
Sure.
In a lot of games, and this was bolstered by, they put out tons of videos kind of just showing, moving sliders and, making the different expressions that people in the game can do. It goes a long way to kind of bolster this direct storytelling when they decide to do it. Yeah. One of the first things I remember seeing is Alex Vance expressing sympathy, like her eyes kind of like, the opposite of the angry eyes. She reverse American Kirby's. Seeing that, and then this became a bit, all those sliders and stuff became a big meme kind of thing. Which we'll talk about that at some point. Yeah. Kind of Gary's mod and the kind of weird memification. Yes. Of Half-Life 2, which luckily like I ignored. Like I played this game when it came out, but I was not online at all, so I was just like, I missed all that stuff. It's awesome. I don't want to see it. You hate to see it. It's horrible. Yeah. Seeing the facial animations and then the physics, which we mentioned, which was just huge. It not only changed the kind of visual impressiveness, because it does factor into that. Like you'll have these kind of set piece things, the tower collapsing on the fan boat section, very famously. But you'll also have it show up emergently in battles. And this is when physics kind of became a watchword. Yes. Kind of an arms race, similar to how lighting effects used to be. Physics were the thing to beat. Yep. For quite a while. Yeah. The production of the game was infamously troubled. It took 5 years to make, had lots of false starts. 5 years as, a definition for vaporware is kind of ridiculous and quaint now, because most games now take 5 games. A lot of big games like this take 5 years to develop anyway. Valve had no timeline. They put out release dates that they knew they couldn't hit. Just a bunch of stuff, kind of, jerking the fan base around, let's say. Yeah, dicking the jerk base around. Yeah, jerking the dick base. Yeah. I said like dicking somebody around is a little bit more malicious or malevolent than jerking them around, I think. So that's why I backtracked on that phrasing. Dicking around can also be more fun, though. Yeah. So like if I was just like, I was just dicking around. Oh yeah, that sounds kind of fun. But if you're like, I was just jerking around, then like, who knows what that means? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and then like you can get jerked around by like your bank. But if you're getting dicked around by your bank, that's definitely like a different feeling to. Yeah, like Chase keeps dicking me. Like that's a weird different valences. Yeah, that feels extremely strange. So they were playing. They were trifling. Yes. For a while, and then they stopped trifling
put out the game. Originally, there were a lot of changes to this. There's a lot of early versions of this. You can find in both, I assume, in that commentary, but I also just found in other research. The original version was a lot darker. There were like child prisons and stuff.
That's weird. What a dystopian idea.
Yeah, exactly. I can't believe that you talked about that for all of one sentence. So there were like child prisons or children. There's a lot more body horror. And it was a lot darker, and it's already a really dark story. You know, it's not like it's a particularly light story.
Right.
But it used to be a lot darker. And a lot of that got changed naturally, but also got changed because the source code and a lot of content was stolen from Valve's servers. A hacker did this, and this was on the back of the hype for this game being absolutely like this weird critical mass. I was reading about it today, and I guess there was like kind of an epidemic in Europe of pirated copies of it that just had viruses. But you would go to somewhere and give them like $60 for a CDR that had Half-Life 2 written in Sharpie, and you put it in your computer, and it would just be like the Nedry virus from Jurassic Park. And
oh no,
well, that's the worst $60 I ever spent. You know, this isn't Half-Life 2. This is a really experimental game. You know, Half-Life 2. But that was, you know, when things that just kind of shows the fevered pitch people had to get their hands on this. They're grubby little gamer hands.
Yeah. So you can find YouTube videos. I have yet to find one that didn't have somebody who struck me as obnoxious talking over it. I wish I could just find like here's a playthrough, here's a no commentary playthrough of the beta. You can also find like lists of details that were cut. Like originally there was going to be like the Manhack Arcade, which was a place where people went to play video games, but oh no, Ender's Game, they're actually fighting wars. They're actually like hunting down dissidents with manhacks and stuff.
Cool ideas. But that's one of the like Valve's like developer trademarks is their willingness to cut things that sound cool. You know, to make something more perfect.
Yes.
You know, that's something that they do.
Right. So
that's okay. You know, like I don't mind that. Like I'll always have that cut content there, including episode 3. So Steam, a big part of Half-Life 2's story. Right. Like the service launched with this. These two things are tied together.
Right. Like the Steam was this game's DRM, pretty much. Even if you bought it physically. I got a physical copy of this for Christmas. I opened it up and I was like, okay, I'm going to secretly install this. You know, because I couldn't wait. Again, everybody was at a fever pitch for this. And I was like, what the hell is Steam? And it was just too much. And I just sheepishly went back and put the disc back in the box.
Rewrapped it.
Yeah.
Gave it back to Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Steam was a real disaster early on.
Yeah.
People hated it. It was not a good service. It basically got better, and that is why Valve prints money now.
Yes.
As a thing. And there's a whole wave of discourse about Steam and Epic and stuff like that we're not going to get into right now.
Nope.
Because it's, you know, for my purposes, Steam has basically done what it's needed to do in my life. Like, I'm not absolving it of anything, but like, you know, it did help me discover and play a lot of games I would not otherwise be able to play.
Yep.
And I can't be too mad at it, even though I recognize that it is problematic to a degree.
There are problems. Yep. Valve also made a wise decision by opening up the Source SDK. This is how we got a good number of mods. You know, Gary's mod being kind of the notable one among those. Kind of a tool for making machinima and just kind of generally dicking around with the physics
or jerking around.
Oh yeah, either way. Messing around with you know, the source engine. So, you know, lots and lots of both you know, games officially made in Source. This isn't the first Source game we've covered. You know, early on we did Vampire. Titanfall 2 is based on a very heavily modified version of the Source engine, etc. and down the line. But Valve took their experience with how important mods were for the original Half-Life and extending its you know, lifespan as a game, and they just kind of, you know, continued to build that in and allow it.
Really, really genius move, you know, because this is how they get games.
Yeah.
Like doing with the first one is how they got Counter-Strike, you know, and Team Fortress. You know, as people doing those as mods, like updating that old Quake mod to be in their engine, and then opening this up is how they got Portal.
Right.
You know, like this is how they get games,
right?
In a lot of ways, and then they hire the people who make them. You know, so people who make like really ambitious mods for these games get hired on at the company,
right?
Or at least like have generally. So that is, a cool way for them to open that up. This is one of the best received games of all time.
Yeah.
Similar to, again, Portal, other dalliances with Valve. This was long anticipated. Critics, players generally absolutely love this, felt it, lived up to an unprecedented hype.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really hard for me to say, having revisited it, that I think that it is overrated. Like, as an experience now, there are games that are more fun or more satisfying to play. It stands up remarkably well, and still remains a really fun time.
Yeah. I was worried.
Yeah. No, it's a reasonable worry, and I'm sure that we'll get some responses. Like, some people will be like, yeah, I don't think it holds up. Happy to disagree with that. The also thing too was when this came out and I played it as well, it lived up for me.
Yeah.
Like, this was when this game came out, I lost my shit for it. Like, absolutely adored it. And, and same thing with the Orange Box, same thing with the episodes. When those things came out, I was also all in.
Just major events when these games dropped.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's been some, official content that they've put out. There's Half-Life 2: The Lost Coast, which is basically like a tech demo that they did to show off their HDR, basically enhancements to the visual effects that they put into the game. This is also where they started introducing developer commentary. Generally, like, if you're curious about not making games, because not everybody can make a game, but just, understanding like where certain games, succeed and fail, you can do worse than to look at these developer commentaries, because it is very smart practitioners explaining the decisions that they made. And it sharpened my eye very early on.
Oh, me too. Like, it's a real easy way. We take level design is really hard to see. Mm-hmm. And even though I think that we do an all right job talking about, individual elements of it that make it good, succeed or fail, there are other places that do this better, who break this down in a more granular sense than we do. And a good way to even know how that there is that language for these commentaries where they'll talk about things just like, hey, we did this drop off here. Yeah. Things you don't even see. Like, it is definitely like an invisible language to most playing. Like, I can tell, and I'm at the point now where it's like, I can tell when it's good. I can tell when it's bad. I can tell things that make it bad pretty easily. I can tell some things that make it good. Yeah. That's definitely like, I'm less good at that half of it. But this was a big intro to that language for me. Yeah, it's the cliche.
It's a cliche about any kind of design. It's also a cliche about film editing. If you're noticing it, it's probably because it's fucking up. Yeah. Same thing about like janitorial services.
Yeah. If you're noticing it, they didn't do it well. Yeah. Things don't just come clean. There are 2 episodes. They decided, instead of doing Half-Life 3, they decided to break it up into episodes because we had a sickness as a nation for a time where everything was going to be episodes. Right. And they released 2 Half-Life episodes, both of which are really good, neither of which is as good as the base game. Right. We will probably cover these at some point. Yeah. Half-Life 3 is really interesting. It's a meme, it's a joke, but it's actually probably the most infamous piece of vaporware that exists. It is they basically kind of stopped working on it and they stopped announcing things about it. There is a good little bit in Noah Gervais' video on Half-Life 2 where he talks about somebody at a convention asking Gabe Newell about Ricochet 2, which was another game that they had published, right? Or Ricochet 3, in kind of a way that allowed Gabe to answer about Half-Life Episode 3. And he basically said that when they make games, they keep coming up with new ideas and rejecting things. So they've gotten really gun shy about announcing things because they're just going to change. This was a long time ago, even though that happened, though. So it is pretty doubtful that this will become a thing.
Yeah. Everything that I have read, this could all be hearsay, that could be just outsider speculation, is just the idea that because of the way Valve is structured, and there's tons of critique about just the idea of the idea of holacracy and, the idea of a workplace with no formal hierarchy, like what actually gets done in that. And you can read, smarter people talking about that effect on the creative output. But like the idea is, a lot of people who were responsible for this, they just moved on from Valve because Valve changed. Additionally, anybody who's there likely views this working on Half-Life 3 as a thankless job, pretty much.
Yeah.
That like there's so much more low-hanging fruit that is better for their own career path at the company, that, you know, putting in any kind of hours or shoe leather into getting Half-Life 3 closer to finished is, you know, not necessarily going to redound to their benefit within the structure. So
yeah, it's saying it's going to reset and restart and be, you know, something different. They publicly also just kind of said they stopped making single player games.
Yep.
You know, and just moving on to multiplayer games, and it makes sense from a financial standpoint. It is heartbreaking from an art standpoint.
Yeah.
That they've done that. Like, you know, say, you know, what you will about your Dotas and whatever. I understand that there are people that like them and everything. It is a singular thing that we lost with them no longer making like the best compact short, you know, single player shooters that get made. You know, like we've talked about the discourse of the death of single player game and how it's greatly exaggerated. However, there is a decreased emphasis on a certain type of big hyped AAA you know, single player game that this is kind of endemic.
Yeah.
You know, or kind of related to, and that is something worth mourning. Like, that sucks. You know, in the rush to say that there's not actually a problem, I think that people overlook, you know, there are parts of it that are actually kind of a problem.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's kind of internet discourse.txt. Like, that happens a lot.
Yeah. There's also a lot of confusion about whether or not Valve making that decision is a leading indicator, a lagging indicator, or if they could actually be considered an actor in the same space who could make decisions that act as a bellwether or indicate what other people are going to do. You know, like they're just a different kind of company now. So like them abandoning that, I don't know. I have no idea if that has any bearing on what goes on outside of them. You know,
there's other, like, also other bits of like key evidence or whatever, like key points in that going away. It's not just Valve, but Valve is definitely a big part of it. You know, and it's so weird. Like, there's a real shortcut to having a hot take online, which is just to say, why is everyone complaining? This actually isn't a problem. And you know, it's a really safe spot to be in, because in some ways you're always going to be right.
Yeah, no.
Like, if you're somebody saying, like, you know, the death of single player games, like, single player games didn't stop coming out. Yes, you're right. When people talk about that, though, they're talking about things like, oh, like Arcane decided specifically not to continue the Dishonored series because of the performance of Dishonored 2.
Right.
Like, that's a real thing. And it matters to some people who aren't you. You know, so, like, yes, there's still going to be single player games. But yes, I also get to be bummed out that we're not going to get a Portal 3 or Half-Life Episode 3 or a new property from these guys, because they're too busy printing money with, like, Lords management games. Right. You know, with whatever you'd call a Dota, like. Your auto chess likes. And I just, as somebody who could not, even if I tried as hard as I possibly could not care less about those games. It's a real bummer. It sucks. Yeah. You know, it sucks for me. Yeah. So real bummer. Half-Life 3, there is a really interesting blog out there where Mark Laidlaw, who's this guy who wrote the series, published what would happen in Half-Life 3. I read that for the first time in preparing for this. It's really cool. Yep. I wish they had done it. It sounds awesome. Same. So whatever, if they actually do come out with it, it will be hard for it to be as cool as that Epistle 3 thing to me. Yeah. I think everything with Breen getting transhumanized, the ending of it is very cool. Yes. So
way into it. Oh well.
I'm not expecting Half-Life 3 to ever come out.
Nope. I gave that up a long time ago.
Yep, me too. And it is, you know, is this Half-Life 3 is this Frog Fractions of a couple years ago, and both jokes are really old now? Yeah. Like, you know, no longer am I interested in either of those jokes. So it's all been done.
I'm not interested in humor about Gabe Newell or Steam or any of that.
Yeah. It's really weird. It's like, that is dated, really. Like, they're kind of past that too. Like, I don't see that as much anymore. That was the thing. And now it's just kind of this weird faceless Dota creator. What's the other big thing that I'm not thinking of? What's the other way they're making tons of money?
I mean, not on Team Fortress 2 hats anymore.
No, that was a thing for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just make money and stuff. And it's like, I kind of get it. And then at the same time, and there's this, whenever you make an argument like this, like you're just like, yeah, it sucks that they're not putting out these games. There's going to be some asshole who is like, yeah, but as a company, their only responsibility is to their shareholders. And if they're doing something that helps their shareholders, they're doing something right by the definitions of the rules of the game. And I'm like, that's also art though.
Yeah.
Like don't take art and boil it down to that. It's grotesque.
Yeah.
You should be ashamed of yourself. Like, that's artless and disgusting. Why do you want to live in that world?
Yeah. So stop, just stop and examine maybe like once a quarter whether or not you're being a gadfly for the status quo.
Yeah, exactly.
would be my general recommendation for anybody who has access to text fields online. Would be my recommendation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. If you're listening to this on the public feed, this is the end of the episode. You can hear the rest of the episode, which includes us going through all of these levels and getting into the nitty gritty by becoming a patron at $5 a month at patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv.
Yep. Thank you to everybody who has done that. Yeah.
So for those people, we'll see you next week with a dispatch and Umbasa.
Umbasa.